Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina wa habibina wa imamina Muhammad ibn Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our class on the explanation of Al-Muqaddimah Al-Ajurrimiyyah. And the commentary or the explanation that we are currently going through is Al-Tuhfah Al-Sanniyyah by Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin Abdul Hamid rahimahullah. And we are still talking about the Al-Mansubat. So today we're going to start, we're going to talk about a new topic. Inshallah, let me share the screen with you. Okay, so today we are going to start this topic here. شروط إعمال لا عمل إنه. يعني this chapter is about what? It is about لا النافية. Yes, but sometimes لا النافية, it has the same function as inna. But for the لا النافية to have the same amal, to have the same function as inna, there are some shurut, there are some conditions that must be met. So before I start, who can remind me what is the amal of inna and the akhawat of inna? What is their amal? What is the function, the job of inna and akhawat of inna? Okay, so Ilyas wants to have a go. Okay, Ilyas, go ahead.
إن تفيد التوكيد تنصب الاسم وترفع الخبر.
Yep, excellent. So inna, as you know, inna and the akhawat of inna, تنصب الاسم وترفع الخبر. So for example, I can say inna zaydan qa'imun. Now, this la an-nafiyah can also come at the beginning of a jumla ismiyah and have the same amal as inna. But for it to do that, certain shurut, conditions have to be met. Okay, so that is basically what we are going to discuss today, insha'Allah. So it's a straightforward topic, nothing too challenging, hopefully. Okay, so when we have a jumla fi'liya, let's say we have a jumla fi'liya. Let's say, for example, we have yakumu zaydun. That's a jumla fi'liya. Now, if you have la an-nafiya, la an-nafiya, yani la which negates. If you have this before a jumla fi'liya, if you have this before a fi'l, You have it before a fi'l. So you say لا يقوم زيد. Then here, obviously, as you can see, this la an-nafiya has no amal. It hasn't changed anything. Not in yaqumu, not in zaydun, nothing has changed. But if la an-nafiya enters upon jumla ismiya, it can have two actions. It can be the la an-nafiya can ta'mal amala inna, like we discussed, or ta'mal amala laysa. Remember, laysa is from the akhawat of kana. Yes. So what is if the function of inna is tansibu al-ism wa tarfa'u al-khabar, what is the amal of laysa? What is the amal of laysa?
ترفع الاسم وتنصب الخبر.
No, it has the opposite. ترفع الاسم وتنصب الخبر. Okay. So this is just a few introductory points I'm mentioning before we move on. Yeah. So la an-nafiya, when it comes before a fi'l, it has no amal, as you can see. La an-nafiya, if it comes before jumla ismiya, it can have two amals. Either the la an-nafiya ta'mal amala inna, or la an-nafiya ta'malu amala laysa. So for example, let's call this number 1. Let's call this number 2. Let's give an example for number 1. For example, I say La rajula indana. La rajula indana. This is la an-nafiyah. Yes. This is ismu la. And the khabar of la is and this is dharf, but it is muta'alliq to the khabar of la. And so the khabar of la would be, and if we were to put it in there, you could say la rajula, for example, mawjudun indana. La rajula mawjudun indana. Yani, there is no man whatsoever amongst us, with us. There is no man with us. So what you are doing here, so this la, it is called nafiyatun, an-nafiyatu, la an-nafiyatu lil jins. That's jim, noon, and seen. Sorry. The an-nafiyatu lil jins. Yani, what's jins? Jins is a whole category, a genus, a whole category. Yani this la, its job is to negate the whole category. Every single member of that category is negated. So basically, the job of la an-nafiyat lil-jins is to say here that this khabar, mawjood, it doesn't apply to any member of this category. What's this category? Men, man. So basically, this khabar mawjood doesn't apply to any member of the ism of la, because this is ism la, yeah? This is ism la, and this is khabar la. Okay, so that's the job of la an-nafiya lil jins. And that is the one we are going to look at today. And that is the one that has amalu inna. That's why look at that. La rajula. Rajula is the ismu la. You can see it has a fatha on it. And you can see mawjood khabar la. It has dhamma. Same job as inna. Tansibul ism wa tarfa'u al-khabar. Yeah. Also, for example, there's something we say every day as Muslims. What is it? That has this construct. You can't be a Muslim without it.
La ilaha illallah.
Yep. La ilaha illallah. Same thing. Same thing. So look here. If you say La ilaha illallah, you can see this la here is la an-nafiyatul lil jins. And you can see ilaha, this is the ismu la. Where is the khabar? Khabar is here. Haqqun. La ilaha haqqun. So there is no God in truth. There is no one worshipped in truth. So ilaha ismula. Haqqun khabarula. So what are you doing? You are saying you are negating that there is any God in truth. Anything that is worshipped in truth, you're negating that. But then you affirm it for Allah alone. Illallah. Also, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Innahu la nabiyyah ba'di. Look at that. There is no prophet after me. La nabiyya. Again, this is la an-nafiya al-jins, and this is ismu la. And khabaru la, you can say mawjudun, kainun. Yeah. And this is taqdir, muqaddar. So here the Prophet ﷺ is negating what? Negating that there will not be any prophet. What he's negating the whole category of prophets after him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, there's hundreds of examples, yeah. Allah says in the Quran, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. And that is a book in which there is no doubt. So Allah again is nafir al-jins. Rayba is ismula. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is negating any kind and all kinds of doubts in this book, the Quran. So this is an-nafiyatul lil-jins. Second type is ta'amalu, and then this is not the focus of our lesson. But I'll give you an example just to show you the difference between the two. Yeah, but that's not the focus of our lesson today. So we said that la an-nafi can come before jumla ismiyya. It can have one or two actions. Ta'malu amala inna, ta'malu amala laysa. Ta'malu amala inna, we looked at it, and that is the one which is an-nafiya lil-jins. Ta'malu amala laysa, for example, you said la rajula indana. So we can say La rajulun indana. La rajulun indana. So here, now again, this is La an-nafiyah, but it's not nafiyah al-jins. The nafiyah al-jins is the one that has the amal of inna. This is La an-nafiyah ta'malu amala laysa. It has the same function as laysa. So it needs the ism, which is this. That's why it's marfu'. This is ismu la. That's why it's marfu'. And the khabar would be, for example, La rajulun ka'inan indana. Yani there is no man amongst us. So you can see ka'inan this time, or mawjudan. It is a mansoob. Why is it mansoob? Because it is the khabar of la, which has the same function as laysa. What is the difference between the two? Number one, la rajula indana for jins. I told you what that means. Negates the whole category. Every single member of that category is negated. As for the second one, la rajulun indana, then that can also have that meaning. This can also mean that. When I say la rajulun indana, that can also mean there is no man whatsoever amongst us or with us. But, so, you know, the first one, lil jins, yes, that is specifically negating an entire category. But this one, second one, la rajulun indana, it can have one of two meanings. It can have the same meaning as the nafir al-jins, meaning it negates the whole category, or it can mean negating one. Yani, there is not one man amongst us, but there are two or three or four or more. So it can also have that meaning. There is not one man amongst us. There are 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20. Okay, so it can have two meanings. But the first one, la rajul indana, no, that's specifically for that. Specifically for that. That's a quick introduction before we start. So now, inshallah, it should be much easier to understand. Okay. So let's look at what the author Ibn Ajurrum rahimahullah says. He says, Qala babu la, the chapter of la, i'lam anna la tansibun nakirati bighayri tanween. No, have knowledge that this la, it makes the nakirat nakira. It makes it mansoob bighayri tanween, but without a tanween. And that's why if you look at all these examples, la rajula, mansoob without tanween. La ilaha, mansoob without tanween. La nabiyya, mansoob without tanween. La rayba, mansoob without tanween. And they're all nakira. Rajul, ilah, nabi, rayb, this is all nakira. Yeah, but this can only happen under certain conditions. What are the conditions? إذا باشرت النكرة. That is with two conditions. Number one, if the la is mentioned directly before the nakira, right next to the nakira without a space between them. إذا باشرت النكرة. Yani if the la is mentioned immediately before the nakira, right next to it. That's number one. وَلَمْ تَتَكَرَرْ la. And la is not repeated in this sentence. So there's only one la. So if these two conditions are mentioned, if these two conditions are met, then the la, it will tansib an-nakirat bighayri tanween. For example, la rajula fi dari. La rajula fi dari. So look here. This la, rajula, it is the ism of la and it is nakira. And it's made it mansoob with the fatha. It's nasb, but without tanween. Are the two conditions met? Yep. First condition met because they are right next to each other. La rajula, there's nothing between them. Second thing is there is no other la in the jumla. So we can say la rajula fi dari. Okay, now he says wa aqulu, this is the sharih rahimahullah. He says wa aqulu i'lam anna lan nafiyata lil jinsi ta'malu amala inna. Have knowledge that la an-nafiya for jins, la which negates the whole category, ta'malu amala inna, has the same function as inna. What is that? Fatansibu al-isma lafdan aw mahallan wa tarfa'u al-khabar. Fatansibu al-ism wa tarfa'u al-khabar. And when we say tansibul ism, it makes the ism after it mansoob either lafdan, yani verbally, literally, like here. No, yeah, either yani literally, or mahallan, or in a state. And I will come to that. Okay, just hold that thought. Okay, so it has amala innas tansibul ism wa tarfa'u al-khabar. When tansibul ism, either lafdan or mahallan. It will do nasb of the ism either lafdan, literally mansoob, or it will put it in mahal nasb because it will be mabni. That's what it means. Either literally lafdan, it will be mansoob, or it will be in mahal nasb because it is mabni. One of the two. Then it says here, وَهِيَ لَا تَعْمَلُ هَذَا الْعَمَلَ وُجُوبًا إِلَّا بِأَرْبَعَةِ شُرُوطٍ. And that this la cannot have this job, cannot have this function, cannot do this action. Yeah. وُجُوبًا يعني إِلَّا بِأَرْبَعَةِ شُرُوطٍ. Yeah. That this, the la, for this la, for it to be obligatory for this la to have the amal of inna, it has to meet 4 conditions. If these 4 conditions are met, then it's obligatory for this la to have amal of inna. Tansibul ism wa tarfa'u al-khabar. What are these 4 conditions? They're easy. We've already actually spoken about them. Al-awwalu an yakuna ismuha nakiratan. The first one, that the ism of this la is nakira. وَالثَّانِي أَنْ يَكُونَ اسْمُهَا مُتَّصِلًا بِهَا. The second condition is that its ism, the ism of this la, مُتَّصِلًا بِهَا, is connected to it. A غَيْرَ مَفْصُولٍ مِنْهَا وَلَوْ بِالْخَبَرِ, meaning that it is not disconnected from it, even if that disconnection is caused by a khabar. And even, let's say, for example, remember we said this la has an ism and a khabar. So let's say the la has to be right next to the ism. If anything comes between them, it cannot have that function of inna. Even if the thing that comes between them is the khabar of the la. Because normally you would have la, then you would have ism la and khabar la. Sometimes you can have khabar muqaddam, yes, and you can have ism muakhar. You can have that. Just like you can have mubtada, muakhar, khabar muqaddam. Same thing like this ism and khabar of la or inna can happen. Yes, but if it happens and the khabar of la ends up coming between the la and the ism of the la, then it cannot have this function. والثالث, the third condition, أن يكون خبرها نكرة أيضا. That is, khabar also must be nakira. والرابع ألا تتكرر لا. And the fourth condition, that la is not repeated in the jumla. These are four conditions. If these four conditions are met, then this la has to have this amal of inna, wajib. Okay, that's that. Now, this is also important information. Let's focus on this one here. Look what it says. It says, okay, I'm gonna have to explain this, but inshallah, let's read it first. ثم اعلم أن اسم لا على ثلاثة أنواع. Then you should know that the ism of la is of three types. Al-awwalu al-mufrad. The first is al-mufrad. Okay, we're going to read that, then we're going to explain it, yeah? وَالثَّانِي الْمُضَافُ إِلَى نَكِرَةٍ. The thani, the second category of ism of la is that which is mudaf to nakira. وَالثَّالِثُ الشَّبِيهُ بِالْمُضَاف. That which resembles mudaf. It's not mudaf, but it resembles mudaf. Now I will explain. We will go through each of them and explain what they are. Okay, so we're going to start with the mufrad here. First one. Okay, look here. Normally when I say to you mufrad, you think normally when we speak about mufrad, we mean that which is not muthanna and that which is not jam. Yes, that's what we understand by mufrad. Yes, normally in Arabic language, when we say mufrad, we mean that which is not muthanna and it's not jam, any singular. But in this chapter and the chapter that's going to come after this, which is the chapter of monada, which we'll look at next week, inshallah. In this chapter and the chapter after chapter of monada, in these two chapters, when we say mufrad, that is not the meaning. It has a different meaning. What is it? Look, أما المفرد في هذا الباب وفي باب المنادى. As for the meaning of mufrad in this chapter and the chapter of munada, فهو, then what is it? ما ليس مضافا ولا شبيها بالمضاف. Whatever is not mudaf and whatever is not something that resembles mudaf. That's mufrad. So what does that mean? فَيَدْخُلُ فِيهِ الْمُثَنَّى. That means in this chapter, in the chapter monada, when we say mufrad, this includes muthanna. وَجَمُّ التَّكْسِير, and it includes jamu taksir. وَجَمْعُ الْمُذَكَّرِ السَّالِمُ. It also includes jamu mudhakkar salim. وَجَمْعُ الْمُؤَنِّثِ السَّالِمُ. It also includes jamu al-mu'annath salim. Why? Because the meaning of mufrad in this chapter and the next chapter is not any singular, something single. No. The meaning of mufrad in this chapter, next chapter, is that which is not mudaf and that which is not shabih bil mudaf. It doesn't resemble mudaf. So if we have that meaning of mufrad, then that would include muthanna. It would include muthanna. It would include all the different types of jams. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Now, if the ism of la is mufrad, yani not mudaf and not shabih mudaf. If the ism of la is mufrad, what is the hukam? What is the hukam? Yeah, the hukam is very simple. What is it? Here. Look, listen very carefully. وحكمه أنه يبنى على ما ينسب به. The hukm is that it will be mabni upon that which upon that thing which makes it mansub. So the hukm of al-mufrad here is that it's going to be mabni upon that thing which is mansub. So look here. فَإِذَا كَانَ نَصْبُ بِالْفَتْحَةِ. So if this ism is an ism which is mansub bil-fatha, normally it is mansub bil fatha, bunya al-fathi, then it will be mabni al-fath. For example, nahwu la rajula fid dari. Look here. If you do the i'rab of this, become clearer. La rajula fid dari. La, of course, I said nafiyatun lil jins ta'malu amala in. Now look at rajula. Of course, it's ismula, but here, what did we say? It is mabniyun al-fath. Fi mahalli nasb. Rajula, it is mufrad. Yani it is not mudaf. It's not shabih bil mudaf. So because it is mufrad, it's going to be mabni. What is a mabni upon here? Fath. Why is it mabni of fath? Because the word rajul, when you make it mansub, is mansub with a fatha. So it's going to be mabni upon fath. And it's in the mahal of nasb. And fiddar, of course, is jal majroor, yeah? Alfa, and we don't need to the i'rab of fiddari. Okay? Because you know the i'rab of fiddari. But then you can say al-jaru wal-majruru muta'alliqun bimahdhuf. What is mahdhuf? Bimahdhufin khabaru la. Where is the khabar of la? Yes? Yes, if you look at it generally speaking, you can say, if you do a general i'rab, you can say that is the ism of la and that's the khabar of la. But you know very well that fiddar in reality is not the khabar. That's it's muta'alliq with the khabar which is mahdhuf. Yeah? So here it would be al-jar majrur muta'alliq mahdhufin khabaru la. Taqdiruhu is taqdir is la rajula kainun fid dari. Okay, la rajula kainun fid dari. واضح? Now, so now bear that in mind, yeah, because look what it says here. So again, let's read it again. وحكمه أنه يبنى على ما ينسب به فإذا كان نصبه بالفتحة بني على الفتح نحو لا رجل في الدار. Okay, but look here now what it says. وإن كان نصبه بالياء, but if the ism is the ism of la, if it is a word that is normally mansub with ya, what is that? وَذَلِكَ الْمُثَنَّى وَجَمْعُ الْمُذَكِّرِ السَّالِمُ. These two are mansub with ya, yeah? Muthanna, jam' mudhakkar salim, they are mansub with ya. So what is their hukam? Bunya ala liya'i. that will be mabni ala al-ya when it becomes ism of la. Nahwu, for example, la rajulayni fi dari. Now, we want to do the i'rab of this, just like I did the i'rab of that. La rajulayni fi dari. Okay, Ilyas, go ahead. What's la?
لا نافية للجنس تعمل عمل إن.
Good. نافية تعمل عمل إن. نعم. Good. رجلين.
رجلين اسم لا.
اسم لا.
اسم لا منصوب.
Nope. For the last 10 minutes I've been explaining that if ismu la is mufrad, then it is mabni upon that which thing it is mansub. And rajulaini is muthanna, is mansub with the ya. So here's ismu la mabni alal
مبني على الياء
لأنه
مثنى.
لأنه مثنى في محل نصب. رجلين اسم لا مبني على الياء لأنه مثنى and is في محل نصب. Okay, and you can say noon about the noon. والنون عوض عن التنوين المفرد. Remember that, yes? والنون عوض, this noon here, عن التنوين في الاسم المفرد. Yeah. Okay, في الدار. Okay, do the إعراب في الدار. What's الفاء وفي؟
الفاء في حرف جر مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب.
الدار.
الدار اسم المجرور بفي وعلامة جره الكسرة الظاهرة على آخره.
Good. Then you have to say والجار المجرور.
والجار والمجرور متعلق ب في الدار
بمحذوف.
محذوف خبر.
بمحذوف خبر لا. تقديره
تقديره
لا رجلين كائنان في الدار. Yeah. This is the ismu la, this is the khabar la, but this really is connected to yani the khabar la really is mahdhuf. Yani la rajulaini kainani. This is the khabar really. So al-jar majroor is connected to this, which is mahdhuf. Muta'alliqun bi mahdhufin khabar بمحذوف خبر لا. What is the خبر لا? تقدير لا رجلين كائنان. Remember رجلين, yes? So the rule to remember here, okay, is that if the ism of la is mufrad, then it's going to be mabni upon that thing, upon the same thing it is mansub. So of course rajulaini is muthanna, it's mansub with the ya, so it's going to be mabni al ya. Here rajul is normally mansub with fatha, so it's going to be mabni al fatha, al fatha. وهكذا. Okay, and then it also says here وإن كان نصبه بالكسرة نيابة الفتحة. But if it is mansoob with a kasra instead of a fatha. What is it out there that is mansoob with a kasra instead of a fatha? وَذَلِكَ جَمْعُ الْمُؤَنَّثِ السَّالِمِ. That's جمع المؤنث السالم. Yes, Jam Mu'annath Salim is mansoob upon, is mansoob with the fatha niyabatan al-kasra. Sorry, Jam Mu'annath Salim is mansoob with a kasra instead of a fatha. So if that is the case, if Jam Mu'annath Salim is mansoob with a kasra, if now Jam Mu'annath Salim becomes ism of la, it will be also mabniyun al-kasr. Because it is mansoob with a kasr, so it will kasra, it will be mabniun al-kasr. That's what it says here. وَإِنْ كَانَ نَصْبُهُ بِالْكَسْرَةِ نِيَابَةً الْفَتْحَةِ وَذَلِكَ جَمْعُ الْمُؤَنَّثِ السَّالِمُ جَمْعُ الْمُؤَنَّثِ السَّالِمُ بُنِيَ عَلَى الْكَسْرَةِ, then it is mabni ala al-kasra because it is mansoob with the kasra. Nahwu, for example, you say لَا صَالِحَاتِ الْيَوْمَ. لا صالحات اليوم. يعني what he's basically saying is there are no righteous women today. لا صالحات اليوم. Yes. Okay. لا صالحات اليوم. Now let's look at the i'rab of لا صالحات اليوم. Now it should be يعني really it's the same as what we've been doing, yeah? لا صالحات اليوم. So Ilyas, what is لا?
لا نافية للجنس مبنية تعمل عمل إن.
Yep, صالحات.
صالحات اسم لا مبني على الكسر
لأنه جمع مؤنث سالم في في
لأنه جمع مؤنث سالم في محل نصب.
Yep. That's it. Yep. So صالحات اسم لا. This اسم لا, it is mufrad. It is not mudaf, not shabih mudaf. So what's the hukam of it? The hukam of it, it will be mabni upon that thing upon which it is mansoob. So salihati jammu and salim is mansoob with kasra, yes? So it will be mabni al kasr. So ismu la mabni al kasri لأنه جمع المؤنث السالم. Yes? في محل nasb, but it's the mahal of nasb. Okay, good. So now al-yawm. What is al-yawm? ظرف.
اليوم ظرف زمان مبني على الفتح.
No. منسوب. Yep, go on. ظرف زمان.
ظرف زمان منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة ظاهرة على آخره.
وهو متعلق, because remember jar والمجرور and ظرف has to be متعلق with something. Same thing. وهو متعلق بمحذوف.
تعلق بمحذوف خبر تقديره.
خبر لا. يب تقديره.
لا صالحات كائنات اليوم.
Excellent. لا صالحات كائنات اليوم أو موجودات اليوم. That's the تقدير. Yes, that's the khabar. Remember the khabar of la, what will it be? It will be marfu. Same as the khabar of inna. It's marfu. Okay, so something to ponder over, yeah? Okay, so we've done, we remember there were three things, yeah? We said that ism of la is three types. The first one is al-mufrad, the ism of la. The second type of ism of la is mudaf. something which is mudaf to nakira. Something which is mudaf to nakira. We're going to look at that now. That's straightforward actually. That's pretty easy. What is that? Look here. This is it. وَأَمَّا الْمُضَافُ, yani if the ismu la is mudaf, what will happen to it? فَيُنْسَبُ بِالْفَتْحَةِ الظَّاهِرَةِ أَوْ بِمَا نَابَ عَنْهَا. This will not be mabni. Only mufrad is mabni. As for mudaf and shabihun bil mudaf, which is the third category, then these are yani mu'rab. They will be mansub. That's why it says وَأَمَّا الْمُضَافُ, as for mudaf, فَيُنْسَبُ بِالْفَتْحِ ظَاهِرَةِ, it'll be mansub with the fatha ظاهرة or bima naba anha, or anything else that which takes the place of a fatha, as you know. Yeah. For example, لا طالب علم ممقوت. Yeah. Look at this. So la is nafiyah al-jins. What is the ismu la? Here it is. طالب علم. طالب. طالب is mudaf. It is mudaf to ilm, which is nakira. So this طالب علم, this is the ismu la, and mamkutun is the khabaru la. And you can see here. So now, yeah. So now when we do the i'rab of this, la talib yani, what this means is no seeker of knowledge is detested. Yani there is not any one seeker of knowledge who is detested. Mamkut. Okay. But now how do the i'rab of that? Remember, this is not a mabni. So look at that. La taliba ilmin mamkutun. So if we now say here, La taliba ilmin mamkutun. What is la? Nafiyah lil jins. Ta'malu amala inna. Done. Okay, what about talib, Ilyas? What's talib?
طالب اسم لا منصوب.
Mansubun. Yes, it's not mabni. Good. Mansub. Wa alamatu?
علامة نصبه هي الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره وهو مضاف.
وهو مضاف. Good. علم?
علم مضاف إليه مجرور وعلامة جره الكسرة الظاهرة على آخره.
Yep, straightforward. علم مضاف مضاف إليه مجرور وعلامة جر كسر على آخره. ممقوت
ممقوت
خبر لا.
ممقوت خبر لا مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره.
Yep, good. That's it. Done. So here the khabar is not a mahdoof. It is there in front of us. Mamkutun. Okay, so that is mudaf. Now let's go to the final third category, which is shabih bil mudaf. So if the ism of la, it is shabih bil mudaf. What does that mean? Yani what that means is it is similar to mudaf, but it's not mudaf. How so? How does it resemble a mudaf? Because you know mudaf, to complete the meaning of mudaf, you need the mudaf ilayh after it. Yes, to complete the meaning of mudaf, you need the mudaf ilayh after it. In the same way, shabih bil mudaf will have something after it which comes to complete its meaning. So in the same way, shabih bil mudaf will have something after it which comes to complete its meaning. So this is the definition. Look what it says. وأما الشبيه بالمضاف. What is it? وهو ما اتصل به شيء من تمام معناه. That is something اتصل به شيء. Something يعني what is الشبيه المضاف? It is that to which something is connected. What is this thing that is connected to it? من تمام معناه. Something that completes its meaning. Something that completes its meaning. And this thing that comes after it and completes its meaning can be marfu, mansub, majroor. For example, look here, let me give you quick examples. Okay, so for example, if I say لا منيرا وجهه حاضر. This here, this is لا النافي الجنس. This is شبيه بالمضاف. Why is it شبيه بالمضاف? Why? This is the ism la, by the way, yeah? This is the ism la. But here, muniran, this is the ism la. Is it mufrad? No. Is it mudaf? No. What is it? Al-shabih bil-mudaf. How do we know shabih mudaf? Because after it, there is something which has come to complete its meaning. And this thing here is marfu. I told you it can be marfu. The thing that comes after shabih the information that comes after shabih bil mudaf to complete the meaning of shabih bil mudaf, this information can be marfu, mansub, or majroor. This is an example of marfu. So here what it means is, and hadir, this is the khabar of la. Hadir. La nafir al jins. Muniran ismu la. Hadirun khabaru la. But here ismu la is shabih al mudaf. Why? Because after it we have something which has come to complete its meaning. Yani la muniran wajhuhu. There is no one, yani no one with a radiant face is present. That's what it means. No one with a bright face, munir, nur. No one with a bright face is hard that is present. Sometimes you can have the information that comes after shabih al-mudaf can be mansub, not marfu like this. For example, I'll give you another example. La مذاكرا درسه حاضر. Look here again. Let me break this down. لا نافير الجنس. مذاكرا, this is اسم لا. And it is what? شبيه بالمضاف. How do we شبيه بالمضاف? Because this information has come after it to complete its meaning. And this time it's not marfu, it's mansub. And hadir is the khabarula. Okay, in the first example, wajhuhu. Why is it marfu? Because it is the fa'il of munir. Wajhuhu, it is the fa'il of munir, so it's marfu. Here, darsahu, why is it mansub? Because it is the maf'ul bihi for mudhakir. So what does that mean? It means mudhakir is someone who studies his lessons, studies his, revises his durus, his lesson. So he's saying here, no one, no one who revises his lesson or lessons is here. No one who memorizes and revises his lessons is present. He's negated that whole category. Now in our presence, we don't have anybody who revises his lessons and studies his lessons. We only have people that don't even care. But as for people who really study their lessons and revise, none of them are here. Yeah, I mean, if I delete this, for example, I delete this. I say la mudhakiran hadirun. There is no one who revises present. You would say revise what? Study what? His lessons. So you have to have this information to complete the meaning of mudhakir. Same here. There is no one with radiant hair present. With radiant what? With a radiant face. So you have to have that information to complete the meaning. That's why it's called shabih bil mudaf. Or sometimes the information that comes after shabih bil mudaf to complete its meanings can be majroor. For example, if I say la rafiqan bil ibadi hadirun. Okay, look here now carefully. La nafi al jins, rafiqan ismu la, and this is shabih bil mudaf. Hadirun khabaru la. Bil ibadi, that is the information that has come to complete the meaning of rafiqan, and it's majroor. So what does that mean? No one, no one who is gentle to the people is here. La rafiqan bil ibad. No one who is gentle with the people is present. Okay. So the point being here that sometimes the ism of la can be shabih bil mudaf. Sometimes the ism of la can be shabih bil mudaf. What's shabih bil mudaf? Shabih bil mudaf is a word which requires some information after it to complete its meaning. Just like a mudaf requires mudaf ilayh. Shabih al-mudaf needs that information after it to complete its meaning. And that information which is after it, something can be marfu, something can be mansoob, something can be majroor. It doesn't matter. Now, if we said that if the ism of la is mufrad, it's going to be mabni upon that thing which is mansoob. We said that if ism of la is mudaf, it is mansoob. We did that. La taliba ilmin mamqud. If the ism of la is shabih bil mudaf, it is also mansoob, but it is mansoob, as you can see, with fathatain, not just one fatha. La muniran, la mudhakiran, la rafiqan. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Let's look at, let's read it through and let's look at the example. So look, let's start from here again. Wa amma shabihu bil mudaf. As for shabil mudaf, wa huwa, what is that? متصل به شيء من تمام معنى. It is that to which something is connected, that which will complete its meaning. فمثل المضاف في الحكم. It has the same حكم ruling as مضاف. What is that? A ينسب بالفتحة. It is mansub with a fatha. It is a mansub with a fatha. So for example, there's the example they're giving you. لا مستقيما حاله بين الناس. What does that mean? لا مستقيما حاله. What is hal? Hal is a state, the condition of a person. Mustaqim, upright. So what he's saying is, there is no one whose condition is upright amongst the people. بين الناس. بين الناس, amongst the people. There is no one whose condition is upright amongst the people. And amongst the people, we don't have anybody whose condition is upright. So now we're going to do the i'rab of this. So if I say لا مستقيما لا مستقيما حاله بين الناس. Look again, I'm going to break this up for you. لا مستقيما. Yes. So, Ilyas, what do you think? What's لا?
لا نافية للجنس تعمل وعمل إن.
Okay, مستقيما.
مستقيما اسم لا شبيه بالمضاف.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because you could. Okay. Or we can just say the i'rab straight away. اسم لا منصوب.
اسم لا منصوب وعلامة
Why
نصبه
do you say
الفتح.
لأنه شبيه بالمضاف? Why is it منصوب؟ لأنه شبيه
مضاف.
مضاف. Okay. وعلامة.
علامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره.
Okay, good. So مستقيما is اسم لا. It is منصوب لأنه شبيه بالمضاف وعلامة نصبه فتحة على آخره. حال.
حال خبر لا.
Nope. No. It's impossible that can be khabar of la. Hal is the information that has come after shabih bil mudaf to complete the meaning of shabih bil mudaf. If I say to you, there is no one with upright, there is no one with upright amongst the people. You will say, with upright what? With upright what? Then you will say, upright in his state and his condition. So that word haluhu has come to complete the meaning of mustaqim. And here it is marfu'. So it's going to be the fa'il of mustaqim. So hal is?
حال فاعل مرفوع علامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره وهو مضاف.
So you can say it's a fa'il of mustaqiman. فاعل mustaqiman marfu' رفع على آخره وهو مضاف. Yes, you said. Yeah, because haluhu. What is al-ha then?
الها ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل جر مضاف إليه.
Okay, good. So, نعم. Okay, good. So basically here, look, let's repeat it. لا نافية للجنس تعمل عمل إن مستقيما اسم لا منصوب. Why is منصوب؟ لأنه شبيه بالمضاف وعلامة نصب فتحة إلى آخره. حال is فاعل of مستقيم مستقيما مرفوع of course وعلامة رفع ضم الآخر وهو مضاف والهاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل جر مضاف إليه. Obviously, we haven't studied this yet, but we have spoken about it a few times. But we will study that in more detail when we go to bigger books. That here mustaqiman is what? It is ismu fa'il. Mustaqim is ismu fa'il. You know ismu fa'il, ismu maf'ul, yes? Ismu fa'il. And ismu fa'il ya'malu amala fi'lihi. Ismu fa'il has the same amal, same function as its fi'l. So the fi'l is istaqama, yastaqimu. Istaqama is madi, yastaqim is mudari. Ismu fa'il mustaqiman. So mustaqiman has the same amal as istaqama, yastaqimu. What is that their amal? It needs a fa'il, it needs a fa'il and needs a maf'ulun bihi. So this is why mustaqim, it has the same function as its fi'l. And the fi'l requires a fa'il. So hal is the fa'il of mustaqim. Okay, let's finish it off and then we'll stop here for today. Okay, bayna. What's bayna? Darfu.
Bayna ظرف مكان.
Yep, darfu al-makan. Yep, mansubun.
وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره وهو مضاف.
وهو مضاف. الناس.
الناس مضاف إليه مجرور وعلامة جره الكسرة الظاهرة على آخره.
Good. So بين الناس, بين is ظرف المكان and it is منصوب وعلامة نصبه as you can see الفتحة على آخره وهو مضاف. الناس مضاف إليه مجرور وجر كسرة ظاهرة على آخره. بين الناس. But obviously we said the ظرف has to be متعلق with something. So if you do a general i'rab of this, you will say, yes, if you do a general i'rab, you would say that mustaqiman is the ism of la and bayna an-nasi, this is the khabar of la. But obviously this is, we said that when al-jar al-majroor or a dharf, they come in the place of a khabar, like here, then they are in fact muta'alliq with khabar which is mahdoof. And that khabar which is mahdoof is the actual khabar. I think this, subhanallah, I told you in our second or third lesson of Ajurrumiyyah, yes? About 70 lessons ago, and we were repeating it. So now here, we have to look for a muta'allaq. So we say, same thing. So this is going to be what? Bayna, it's going to be, you could say, وَهُوَ مُتَعَلِّقٌ بِمَحْذُوفٍ خبر of la. Yes? يعني بين is متعلق بمحذوف. What is محذوف? خبر لا. What is the تقدير of it? تقديره, what do you think? لا مستقيما حاله what?
موجود.
Yep, good. Okay, لا مستقيما حاله. لا مستقيما حاله موجود بين الناس. Yeah, and obviously that makes sense because this is la nafil jins, this is the ism of la which is mansoob, and the khabar of la will be marfu. Or you can say ka'inun, mustakirrun. They all have the same meaning. Mawjudun, ka'inun, mustakirrun. Basically what it means is, yeah, there is no one whose condition is upright, موجود, present, بين الناس, amongst the people. I wanted to do this as well because it's not long, but I think your brains look like they might be fried. So inshallah, this is basically in connection to the same thing. So we leave it here, inshallah. But this now, this second part is talking about what? Is talking about what happens to this la an-nafi al-jins when one of those 4 conditions is not met. Yeah, if one of those 4 conditions is not met, what happens to this la? And what happens to this ism of this la? What happens to the khabar of this la? That's what this is going to talk about now. Okay, but this, to be honest with you, is going to take another, to explain it properly, 20-25 minutes. So this will make the lesson too big. So you have to, next lesson, please make sure that you have revised what we have done today. Only then you will be able to understand the second part. Because obviously there's no point repeating everything that I've done, you know. Obviously, you know, we will do a little bit of revision, like 2-3 minutes, but we're not going to repeat the whole thing. And then we'll move on to this. And then after this, we'll also study the monada. So inshallah, next week again, we've got 3 lessons. I'm going to announce in the group, inshallah, yeah? The first lesson is going to be on Sunday. Second lesson is going to be on Tuesday, like normal. And our third and final lesson, inshallah, in Ajurrumiyyah will be next Thursday. All 3 lessons will be at the same time. 9:30 p.m. Saudi time, 7:30 p.m. UK time, inshallah. 3 more lessons, inshallah, will finish. But each of the following 3 lessons are going to be 1.5 hours long. So be ready for that, okay? Like today we did 1 hour 10 minutes, and we did same yesterday and same day before. But next week, each lesson is going to be 1.5 hours, so we can finish the book, inshallah. Okay, so if you have no questions, then inshallah I will see you on Sunday. Barakallahu fil jami'. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak la nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.